Hey everybody, Michelle here with Next Chapter Counseling. I've got another weekly question for you guys. The weekly question this week is a follow-up on my video last week. So last week I made a video specifically for those couples out there who live under the same roof but hardly ever see each other because of their different schedules. And the questions that I got this week from a couple different people actually were basically saying, hey Michelle, what about the long distance couples out there? How can they maintain connection? What can we do as a long distance couple to make our connection better? So I'm here today to answer that and give a couple different ideas. The good news about most long distance couples, again referencing the video last week, is that most long distance couples have a regular communication schedule already in place. That was one of the things I talked about in the last video, is that when two people live together, but they go sometimes days without seeing each other because of different schedules, they sometimes find it hard to connect, and they don't always do the best job at video chatting when they can or talking on the phone when they can. They're more apt to just send a quick text and keep going with their day. But you long distance couples out there, you probably do a lot better with this. Most long distance couples that I've worked with as clients or that I've known in my personal life, they have a set schedule set up based off of different time zones or just knowing their schedule and their partner's schedule. They have regular video chats most of the time every single day. So you guys, hopefully, if you don't already, get this out of the way first, but hopefully you already have a regular communication schedule going, and you guys are more likely to use video chat and phone calls rather than texting to communicate. So this is fantastic. But what you probably already know, what I'm going to talk about today, is that it takes a lot more than regular verbal communication for a relationship to grow and feel like it's thriving rather than just surviving. And there's lots of things that make long distance relationships hard. So I'm going to throw out two different suggestions today about how to help the connection between you and your partner stay strong and get stronger than it already is. So the first suggestion that I'm going to give is to add some spontaneity to your relationship. And what I mean by this is to do what you can to surprise your partner from time to time. Because you guys likely already have that regular schedule set up, you know when you're going to talk each day and that kind of a thing, you want to make sure that the relationship doesn't start to feel too routine. And again, this is a challenge when you guys don't live geographically close to each other. But anything that you can do to surprise your partner spontaneously is going to add some spark to your relationship. So if you can afford it, sending them a package in the mail or even just a letter, which can be a little bit cheaper, because in my opinion, there's nothing better than receiving a surprise in the mail. I write letters back and forth with my great aunt, and I love getting the letter in the mail. It feels so much better than getting like a regular email in your inbox. There's something about the mail that just feels good to open up the mailbox and see that there's something waiting for you there. So try to send your partner something if you can. If that's too much or doesn't work, even just sending a spontaneous text or calling them at a time when you guys maybe wouldn't typically talk, that can be a nice surprise too in their day. So think about what you can do to make that happen. And it may be something that you've done in the past or that you're already doing pretty regularly, which is great, but think about how you can do it more. I'm sure it'll brighten your partner's day and remind them that even though they're busy in their day-to-day life and you're busy in yours, you're thinking about them. So that's my first suggestion. The second thing that I'm going to suggest is one that is a bit of a tough thing to talk about, because the second suggestion that I'm going to give is to have conversations with your partner where you guys are setting goals together for your relationship. Now, I recommend this for all couples, long distance or not. It's really important to have a shared vision for where your relationship is going and what you both are hopeful for in your future together. And long distance couples, these conversations get harder for them because there's a lot of barriers in place. So, what I've seen with some long distance couples is they don't want to talk about the future very much because it leaves them feeling sad or frustrated. Most couples, when they talk about the future, they feel happy after those conversations and excited about what's to come. That's not always the case with you long distance relationship people out there. Unfortunately, like, you can feel really let down when you think about the future and think about how hard it's going to be for you and your partner to get where you want to be. But I'm going to encourage you guys to start approaching these conversations more often with one another than you already are. Don't shy away from talking about the barriers. If they're not talked about, they can't be overcome. And don't have these conversations all the time. Like, yes, that could definitely be a bummer. But have them more than you are currently. Because what I'm talking about here is having a goal setting conversation, not just talking about the barriers that you have, but talking about what can be done to overcome those barriers. I know there may be some big ones in place, but like, let's say one of the barriers is money, right? Like, for one of you, it's really hard to afford the plane ticket to go out and see your partner. Well, really get specific about, okay, how much money would I need to try to tuck away each month to reach that goal of having enough money for a plane ticket to go out and see them? Science and research have shown time and time again that people who set more specific goals are more successful. So someone who says, I want to exercise more versus someone who says, I want to go to the gym 3 times a week. That second person is more likely to be successful because they're being more specific. So I want the two of you to get specific with each other about what's in your way and what can be done to overcome it, so that even if it's too much right now to think about being together permanently, at least you can really start thinking about when your next time is to see each other. Some of you out there might see each other pretty regularly. Some of you out there might see each other like once or twice in a year because of these barriers that are legitimate and that really pose an obstacle to your relationship. But I want you guys to start talking about what small goals you can each work on to get you closer together. If you already know when you guys are going to see each other next, set goals for that trip. Decide what experiences you want to have together. Really name it and daydream about it and feel optimistic instead of feeling down about all the challenges that you two are facing. I want you guys to feel hopeful about your future, and the best way to do that is to talk about shared goals and how you guys can achieve them. That's what I got for you guys for this week. If you have a question for me, send me an email, nextchapter.michelle@gmail.com, and I'll be here again next week with another video. Thanks.